Hello everyone! We're making a new film with Hui, and this time I'm gonna show you how to clean your terracotta pots the earth-friendly way, and also how I fill up my kiln. But let's start with the cleaning of the pots. So I want to show you what, well, I've had these pots outside all winter, so we got our winter back. So we had spring days and warm, and then winter and freezing again. So I took all the pots inside. What happened a few years ago with this pot? I left it outside for all winter, and we have several changes in the weather. And when water freezes here in, it expands, so it cracked the pot. So I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And I want to show, but I use Kultela white clay for my pottery. And in the beginning it's a nice and orange color like this. But with use it will change color. But I want to clean this really well before new season, because if there's been any diseases and stuff, so I want to get rid of them. What I have done first is that I have soaked these 1 part vinegar and 4 parts water. And I soak them for a couple of hours. And I don't use bleach. I want to do this earth-friendly way. So I use vinegar and baking soda. If you happen to be in Finland, you can go in Itäkeskus, eastern side of Helsinki. There is this shop Kalinka, which is a Russian food store. And you can get soda from there. It's much cheaper. And I love the package. I think it looks so cool, the graphics. And now I just put new pots in. I have baking soda here, so I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with that. Big pot like this, I'm gonna leave this overnight in vinegar, because rest of these I will put in the dishwasher, but this I can't. So
yeah.
If you don't have a dishwasher, you can also cook in water the small pots. Before I put them in the dishwasher, I will just wash them like this with baking soda. I have baking soda and water here.
Yeah.
I just eyeballed it. In the way I like when the pots have minerals, or especially if you have bird influenza in Finland now. And all the birds really like my pots that I have outside, and there's a lot of bird poop on them. I don't want to be spreading any diseases for birds. And you don't have to use bleach. You can do it this, and it's much more ecological way of cleaning. Yes, and I think now we have to start thinking that we start doing things in a different way. And I use baking soda and vinegar in almost all the cleaning I do. It's really good. So you can see that they are already totally different color. But they will always be darker than the ones that not been used. But we can take maybe a picture in a couple of days when they have dried, so you can see it. These are always darker than when you've been using them. At least, yeah. But we will show it too.
I think
you have to come and film again. Now I just rinse these before I put them in the dishwasher. I always use hot water.
Yeah.
And it's cold outside. But when I have these plastic ones on, so it doesn't feel it. You can use cold water actually. It doesn't, I don't think it matters. Well, I don't trust them too hard, because I like when they change.
Yeah. And then
So I don't want them to look brand new.
last year, or when did you make?
Some of them are several years old. Well, in the summer I will film. I have a back window where I have all the... Actually, in my previous video I have a picture when it's all snowed in there. So now I'm going to put them in the dishwasher. And one thing, that if you don't have a dishwasher, So if you don't have a dishwasher, you can just cook them.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
it's this is to sterilize them. So that's why. And I'm gonna just use the hottest. Maybe I want to save my plate. I collect these ones. This is Willow by Arabia. This is over 100 years old.
Oh.
Yes, I love everything blue and white. Illusion of Asia.
Yeah.
So it's not real Asia, it's the way, romanticized Asia. It's really, and they use the same picture in all the factories around Europe. So before I started using local clay, I was using, I was doing a lot of like this blue and white pottery. Yeah, this was stoneware. I used to use industrially made clay after I worked in China, because then I felt like there's no need for real pottery. And also that because I realized that I didn't know the source where I get my clay.
Yeah.
So I think for me it's important I know who makes my clay and where it actually comes from.
Yeah.
Because before I just bought from catalogs material and I never questioned the clay maybe came from Germany. So I don't think it's wrong to buy clay from other places, but I think we should be find out who makes the clay and where it actually comes from. This is ecological. So I use Ecovert, which is and then I go for the 75 one. So if you don't have a dishwasher, there's two other ways you can kill all the bacteria. One is cooking the pots for 20 minutes, or then you can put them in the oven also. And for I would say 200 Celsius, let it be there at least. I leave it for an hour. So that's a good way of killing all the bacteria. But because these are used pots already, so you don't put the fire up fast, you go a little bit gradually. But you have to, actually what you can do is that you hear that the pot is not cracked.
Yeah.
Because if it's cracked, then it's not so. My trusty oven is, I think, like 40 years old. You can hear that the pot is not broken. This is what we talked when we said if you want to use oven, and if it's broken, then it's like.
So.
Yes. I'm gonna fill the kiln. I have lots of student work here, and making flower pots is very nice because I can just fill them. So I have a lot of international students in my pottery, so I always put Helsinki underneath, because I think it's really nice when the material, they have a piece of Finland once this is fired. Yeah. So it's a nice memory for students who are in Helsinki. And this kiln plates, it's made with the really high fire, so you can actually, because I used to do stoneware, porcelain, fire this to 1300. But I fire, because this is white clay, it's low fired, so I fire this only for 1000. But my firing is a little bit more expensive because I pay extra for the electricity company that they promise to use solar energy for amount of thing at the studio. So here is the test tiles we made with. So now when they are, once we glaze them, we have to fire them flat. But now when they are just for the biscuit firing, you can have them up like that. I think in ceramics, people think that clay is really cheap, and making pottery is really cheap, but actually the ecological footprint of making pottery is very expensive for the earth. This kiln is from 1984. It was made before you were born.
Yeah, true.
Because this is a porcelain kiln. But when I fire so low, so I can use it for many more years. And now I'm gonna put tiles here. Actually, I'm gonna take some of these tiles, but I have bigger tiles too. And then I can put one more pot here. There you go. And it's really important to fill the kiln evenly.
Yeah.
Then you have much more usage for the kiln. So if you just like fill lower part and then rest is empty, it's really bad for the kiln.
Go. So, the kiln is ready?
Yes. So I fired it yesterday morning, and this has been 1000 degrees. And it's perfect for flower pots, white clay flower pots from our clay. Yeah. It's always different. So I do my flower pots. This is a ready flower pot, and it's quite hot.
Still hot?
Yes. So this is one of the hanging planters we made a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I have a video on hanging planters.
Yeah.
So here, so they will get a little bit lighter, like maybe like this. But yeah, well, I don't know. I think some of this will stay quite dark, but I can feel that they are wet, so they are cold. And here's the new one, so you can see the color difference. Thank you for watching, and please, it would be a good help for us if you would subscribe and comment. It would be nice to know where you come from. Thank you. You would have in film when I break my students' pots. That would be. It's probably gonna be broken now because if you say like I can use it for me, please be kind, my dear Kiln.